It can happen that quickly. An internet news agency in Dubai reports on its website that Washington-based Harman International is the target of a tender offer. Now, for those not familiar, Harman makes high-end audio equipment. Just look at your CD player or car radio. If it has a name like Infinity, JBL, or Logic 7, well, they made it. Harman tried to get the word out that there was no tender offer, sending the stock down 17% Monday after earlier gaining 10% on that rumor that very day. Well, shares regained some of that lost ground in today's session as well. Here to further clarify the situation, Dinesh Paliwal. He's chairman and CEO of Harman. Good to have you with us. Good evening.
Good to be here, Carol.
So, I got to ask, have you received any takeover offer?
If you're talking about the fictitious company, the fictitious rumor on Monday, then I can tell you that this is no more the news. We all found out that it was simply a hoax. And we did what we should have done, inform the New York Stock Exchange, inform SEC, and leave it to them to investigate what actually happened, where this fictitious company came from.
So you were surprised by this whole kind of furor, if you will, over this rumor?
Absolutely, yeah.
All right. I mean, are you at all talking with anybody?
You know, like any other CEO, I would not be speculating on anything.
Right, right. Well, you know, the reason I bring it up, Dinesh, is because I think in this environment, people have said it's almost an opportune time for many companies, especially stronger players, to maybe hook up with someone because many companies have been beaten down. You can kind of get a good price. Do you agree that that's the kind of environment?
I think it is, and actually we're in the game as well. We're looking at several technology plays out there because we have perfect portfolio for all three segments, consumer, professional, and automotive. And there are several technologies which are fantastic. They will plug in some of the holes we have in our portfolio.
Right.
And we have the global brand and the global reach, and these companies don't. So we are actually in the market ourselves for that.
And you guys actually raised some money, right? You did a common stock offering, and some of that was to use for acquisitions. I mean, was it about $200 million?
That's correct.
All right. How much of that might you use on acquisitions?
Well, first of all, it's a good point you brought up, because people ask me, are you seeing any green shoot? I say this is the green shoot. When investors believe in the company and they gave us $200 million, we asked for, in fact, we had much greater demand. So this $200 million, partly, I would say, at the moment, we keep it for liquidity insurance.
Right.
Because in these times, you could never have enough liquidity.
Right.
We will watch and see for 1 or 2 quarters, and if we see economies seem to be settling down, if it stays that way or improves a bit, then I would certainly see that our shareholders would say, let's use some of these funds to bring in those bolt-on technology acquisitions.
All right, so how much money do you want to put towards acquisitions?
Well, let's see. I mean, I would like to look for the value-creating companies, very accretive, right, for the cash flow and for the profitability. And I don't believe in large acquisitions. I believe in smaller, 50, 60, 100, $200 million max. You fit them in, you digest them well. The cultural integration is much easier.
Right.
So it's not just the $200 million. We can also raise more money if necessary. Our shareholders will allow us to do so.
Right. You said that, you were pleased to see that your investors were happy. They certainly, showed confidence in terms of that common stock offering. What do you make, though, of that rumor that really wreaks havoc in your stock? Because there was so much volatility on Monday. It rose 10%, then it dropped 17% after the statement came out. What do you, as a CEO, you don't want to see that volatility, do you?
Absolutely not. What I believe in, and I really want all my shareholders to know, and they know that, I talk to them,
right.
Gradual improvement in companies' performance is the only way you create sustainable value for the shareholders. And that's what I've been doing. Since 2 years I've been here. I'm very proud of the team and the entire employee base, what they have done. Mm-hmm. We have been working on streamlining the portfolio, restructuring the cost base, business process improvement across the company, and we're seeing tremendous improvements already. We announced about a year ago, I announced $400 million permanent cost takeout for a company of our size, $4 billion.
That sounds pretty tremendous.
It is. In fact,
was that because of the environment?
Oh, this is well before this global recession hit us. That was to bring our company to the profit leadership position. That's what I wanted to do. And that step change, I call it, has helped us a great deal in getting out of this crisis we are in. In fact, half of this step change initiative is already implemented. I get a lot of calls from various CEOs. What methodology are you using and how do you go about it? It's a massive culture change, especially when we're dealing with Western European environment,
right.
when unions and works councils,
well, how do you do it? It isn't easy. You know, we've seen over the last year with a lot of certainly European companies, French companies, where they cut workers and everybody's up in arms and hijacking managers and so on. How do you do it?
It's not easy, as you know very well. It's absolutely hard work on a daily basis. A lot of communication, putting facts in front of people. Germans, French, and others, Americans, they all believe in facts. They understand the realities of the life. They may not want to see it happen to them.
Right.
But more you communicate, more they come to grips with the situation. And I always say, I'll do everything what is good for our shareholders and for the largest set of employees. If we have to remove 5–10% people, but it's not about people. I really want to make that point. It's about structuring companies so that we all work in a streamlined, best-in-class process.
But it is tough for those people who lose jobs.
It certainly is, but it is good to save 90% of the job rather than risking all 100%.
You keep talking about your shareholders, and I'm curious, Dinesh, especially in this economic environment, what is their biggest concern?
Shareholders' biggest concern is management now execute on what we have communicated to them. We have well-defined strategy, and it's a simple strategy. Is operational excellence, operational excellence, operational excellence, and go global. Spread our footprint in emerging markets like China. China became now the #1 car-producing and car-consuming country in the world. So we got to be there. I mean, that's what I did in my former company, and I'm exactly trying to do what this company should have done many years ago.
Do your shareholders want to take over?
Well,
just a few seconds here.
As a CEO, I'll take any legitimate, good proposal which makes sense for our shareholders' value creation of a company and look at it.
All right, so you're open to it.
I'll always be open. As a CEO, I should look for the shareholders' interest.
All right, we're going to take a break, come back and talk some more. We are talking with Dinesh Paliwal. He's chairman and CEO of Harman International. When we come back, the stock of this company up about 30% year to date. What does it tell us about consumers in this tough time? We're talking with Harman International Chairman and CEO Dinesh Paliwal. So Dinesh, your company makes high-end audio equipment, expensive, high-end. We heard that nobody really can buy the luxury goods nowadays. I'm just curious, are your goods seen as a luxury item or an item of necessity? How do you think it plays out here?
I think we are seen as a high-quality items. And
so luxury.
I would say luxury, and when it comes to all the automotive industry, yes. Speaking of luxury, all the luxury cars from Germany today are being shipped with Harman head unit design and equipped with electronics and audio systems, and Lexus and Toyota. So yes, times are tough for all. I am happy we were not in commodity, because commodity business has been literally killed.
Right, right.
So we're holding up reasonably well compared to what we have seen in the market, and we have sustained this difficult situation.
Let's talk about the automotive side of the business, because the bulk of your revenue still comes from automotive, correct?
That's correct.
All right, and my understanding, your earnings for fiscal for the third quarter, there was a loss,
right,
because of that exposure and those cutbacks by the automakers. Is that auto downturn still impacting you guys?
Absolutely. You see, when you see your top line disappearing 30% or higher,
that's big.
There's no way anybody can keep company profitable in the short term.
Right.
So we were hit hard. In fact, literally, sales fell off the cliff. So what we have been doing before this crisis came is to manage our cost base, and that's helping us. And we are determined and laser focused that we bring the profitability at the current sales level.
Right.
Not going to wait for the sales to recover. It may take a long time. We don't even know that.
So the impact then potentially lessening because of these measures you're taking to cut costs and so on.
Absolutely.
All right.
But the key I would like to make here, we're in business where innovation and research pipeline is the key. If you don't do that, this company cannot look for 5–10 years out.
So then what, the green focus that's going on in autos, you're incorporating that into what you guys are doing?
We are big. We are leading the green. In fact, we are leading the hybrid and the electric car technology.
Right.
And we are also leading in the sound reinforcement, sound reproduction, especially the MP3, where you have the compressed sound. I sometimes feel my daughter, my children, my son, they're depriving themselves from what real music should sound like.
Right, right.
So we are bringing the correction, we call it simple terms of filter, so everybody can hear what the music should sound like.
Let me go back to that loss that you reported in the fiscal third quarter. I mean, do you expect to continue to report a loss this quarter? I mean, how does it look? Can you give us any visibility?
Well, I really don't give any forecast. In this environment especially, it's
Is it at
difficult.
least bottoming, getting better?
If you see, U.S. is bottoming out, but still at a very low level. I'm glad that GM and Chrysler both came out of the bankruptcy so fast.
That's going to help you? Do you think that's going to help you?
It's going to help, first of all, taxpayers, and it's going to help the whole industry. Luckily, our exposure to D3 has been very low. Our sales is less than 10% for U.S. automotive.
Okay.
So it didn't really affect us as much. We do complete Chrysler, and Chrysler is coming back, and we're starting to see their productions being ramping up right now. Dinesh,
you do a lot of business overseas. I think you and I talked in the break about 60% of revenue overseas.
Right.
Talk to me about what you're seeing in terms of the economic environment there. How would you describe it based on what you're seeing in terms of business?
I think U.S. was first to be hit with this crisis, and U.S. is first to come out, I believe, unless I'm seeing something which is illusion. Europe, we're still not seeing whether it's bottomed out.
Right.
Then when you go to Japan, it's the hardest hit, any of the OECD country. China is almost like as if nothing happened.
Really?
China and India is amazing what China is doing right now, and we are very happy because we are present in China. In fact, 1 year ago, we opened a world-class facility in Suzhou, China, and we're growing. We have 1,000 people in China, so there's a lot of work's been going on in China.
All right, we could certainly go on talking. I wish we had more time, but I appreciate the time you gave us. Dinesh, thank you so much.
Thank you. It's my pleasure.
Dinesh Paliwal, everybody. Harman International Chairman and CEO.